His hands framed her face, dark eyes burning with intensity that made her breath catch. "Once I have you, Zara, I'm never letting you go," Minjun whispered, his thumb tracing her bottom lip. "This marriage might have started as a contract, but it ends as something real. Tell me you understand that." Zara's heart hammered against her ribs. They stood in his bedroom, the Seoul skyline glittering through floor-to-ceiling windows behind them. She'd been his wife for less than 24 hours, married to a man who was equal parts dangerous and devastating. "I understand," she breathed. "I want it. I want you." He kissed her then, consuming and possessive, erasing every memory of the ex-husband who'd called her broken, defective, worthless. Minjun's hands roamed her curves like she was precious, like she was everything. "Tell me what you need," he murmured against her lips. "You. Just you. All of you." He lifted her effortlessly, her legs wrapping around his waist. "Then you'll have me. Every part of me. Forever." But how did a divorce nurse, humiliated and discarded for being barren, end up in the arms of Seoul's most powerful tech mafia boss? How did one night change everything? If you want to know how this insane, passionate love story began, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. This is going to be a wild ride of revenge, redemption, and romance that you won't want to miss. Drop a like on this video and comment below if you believe in second chances. Now, let me take you back to where it all started. 3 months earlier, Zara Okonkwo's hands were steady as she checked her patient's vitals, but inside, she was still broken. The divorce papers had been finalized 90 days ago, but the words her ex-husband David had spoken still echoed in her mind every single day. "What good is a wife who can't give me children? You're defective, Zara. Broken. I need a real woman." 3 years of marriage, destroyed because her body had betrayed her. Or so she'd been told. The diagnosis of polycystic ovary syndrome had come 2 years into their marriage, and David had made sure everyone knew. Her family, his family, their friends. Everyone knew that Zara was the reason they couldn't have children. Everyone knew she was barren. He'd remarried 2 months after the divorce. Jessica was 23, blonde, and everything Zara apparently wasn't. Fertile. Worthy. Enough. Nurse Okonkwo? Her colleague Maria touched her shoulder. "There's someone asking for you at reception. Says it's urgent." Zara frowned. It was 11 at night. Her shift didn't end for another hour. Her phone buzzed. "Unknown number. Come to the front desk alone. It's about your ex-husband. You'll want to hear this." A friend. Every instinct told her this was wrong, dangerous even. But the mention of David made her curious despite herself. She walked to the reception area, her sneakers squeaking softly on the linoleum. That's when she saw him. He sat in the plastic waiting room chair like it was a throne. The man wore a suit that probably cost more than her car, perfectly tailored to his broad shoulders. His face was all sharp angles and intense dark eyes that tracked her movement like a predator watching prey. 2 men in identical black suits flanked him at a respectful distance, their expressions blank but alert. When their eyes met, he stood with fluid, controlled grace. Zara Okonkwo. His Korean accent was smooth, cultured. Not a question. A statement of fact. "Who are you?" She tried to sound confident, but her voice wavered. The corner of his mouth lifted in something that wasn't quite a smile. "Someone who knows what was done to you. And someone who can give you everything you deserve." He moved closer, and she caught the scent of expensive cologne, sandalwood, and something darker. "But more importantly, I'm the man who's going to make you my wife tonight." Zara's brain stuttered. "Excuse me." "You heard correctly." His eyes traveled over her face with an intensity that made her skin heat. "I've been watching you, Zara. I know about David's cruelty. I know about the divorce. I know about the lies." Her breath caught. "What lies?" "Walk with me." He gestured toward the exit with a hand that bore a single, expensive watch. "My car is waiting. We have much to discuss, and this lobby is too public for what I need to tell you. I'm not going anywhere with a stranger who just told me he's been watching me. That's literally every red flag." His laugh was low, genuine. "Smart. I like that." He pulled out a business card, extending it to her. "Kang Minjun, CEO of Kong Tech Industries. Look me up if you'd like." "I'll wait." Zara took the card, her fingers brushing his. The contact sent an unexpected jolt through her. She pulled out her phone and searched his name. Her eyes widened. Kang Min-jun was one of the richest men in South Korea. Tech genius. Billionaire. And according to several articles, rumored to have connections to organized crime, though nothing had ever been proven. "So you're rich and possibly a criminal," she said, looking up at him. "That doesn't make me want to get in your car." He stepped closer, close enough that she had to tilt her head back to maintain eye contact. His voice dropped to a whisper that somehow felt more intimate than a touch. "Your ex-husband owes me 50 million won. Gambling debts. He can't pay. But that's not why I'm here." His hand came up slowly, giving her time to pull away, before his fingers gently tilted her chin up. "I'm here because you deserve to know the truth about why your marriage really ended. Come with me willingly, and I'll show you everything. Refuse, and your ex-husband's debts will still be collected, just without you there to witness his downfall." Zara's heart hammered against her ribs. This was insane. This man was clearly dangerous. But that word, truth. 1 hour, she heard herself say. "I'll listen for 1 hour, then I'm going back to work." His smile widened, and for a moment, genuine warmth broke through his cold exterior. "That's all I need." The car was a Mercedes Maybach with leather seats that probably cost more than her nursing school tuition. Zara sat across from Min-jun, a privacy screen raised between them and his guards in the front seat. The Seoul city lights blurred past the tinted windows. 3 years ago, Min-jun began, pulling out a tablet. "You were diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome. Difficult to conceive, but not impossible. Certainly not barren." He turned the screen toward her. "Medical records." Her medical records. "How did you get these?" "This is illegal. I have resources that operate outside conventional legality." His bluntness was almost refreshing. "What you don't know is that your husband was told the same prognosis by your doctor. The issue was actually more on his side. Low sperm count, poor motility. But he blamed you. Publicly humiliated you. Made you believe you were broken." The world tilted. "You're lying." "Am I?" He swiped to another document. David's medical records appeared, full of clinical terminology that Zara understood perfectly with her nursing background. The evidence was there in black and white. Male factor infertility. Recommended treatments. Dated 6 months before their divorce. The bastard. The absolute bastard. "He knew," she whispered, her hands starting to shake. "He knew, and he let me think it was my fault. He let everyone think that you were worthless, defective, unworthy of love." Min-jun's voice was soft, but edged with anger. "Men like David need someone to blame for their inadequacies. You were convenient. Beautiful, kind, trusting. The perfect scapegoat." Tears burned in Zara's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Not yet. Not in front of this stranger who somehow knew her deepest shame. "Why?" Her voice cracked. "Why are you telling me this? What could you possibly want from me?" Min-jun set down the tablet and leaned forward, elbows on his knees, eyes locked on hers with an intensity that made her breath catch. "I want you to marry me. Tonight. We'll sign the papers within the hour." Zara laughed, but it came out broken, slightly hysterical. "You're insane. Actually insane. Perhaps." His mouth curved. "Here's what you get from this arrangement. First, revenge. David owes me money he doesn't have. As my wife, you'll be there when I take everything from him. His new marriage, his reputation, his pride. Everything he took from you, returned tenfold." The word revenge tasted like honey on her tongue. Dark, sweet, tempting. "Second," Min-jun continued, "I'll have the country's best fertility specialist confirm what I've just told you. You'll have medical proof that you are perfectly capable of having children. No more doubts. No more shame. And third," her voice was barely a whisper, "third, you become Mrs. Kang. My wife. Under my protection. No one will ever hurt you again, because to hurt you would be to declare war on me. And trust me, Zara, no one wants that war." It was intoxicating and terrifying in equal measure. "What do you get out of this?" His expression darkened, shadows passing over his features. "I have enemies. Rival families in my world who see me as a target. They know I was engaged once. She was killed to hurt me. Car bomb. She died instantly. His jaw clenched, the first real emotion breaking through his controlled facade. Since then, I've been alone. Vulnerable. A wife, especially one unexpected, someone they can't easily research or target, gives me an advantage. You're perfect because you're outside their radar. So I'm a human shield. You're a partner, he corrected. There's a difference. I won't touch you unless you ask me to. I won't force anything. But I will protect you with my life, treasure you like the precious thing you are, and make every single person who hurt you regret the day they were born. Zara's mind raced through possibilities, consequences, futures. This was crazy. Absolutely insane. But God help her, she wanted it. Wanted to see David's face when he realized the woman he discarded had become untouchable. Wanted proof that she wasn't broken. Wanted to feel protected instead of vulnerable for the first time in years. If I agree, she said slowly, watching his face for any sign of deception, I want control over how we handle David. My revenge, my way. Minjun's eyes gleamed with something like approval, maybe even pride. Agreed. And you really won't expect me to share your bed? He leaned forward, close enough that she could see flecks of gold in his dark eyes. I'm a patient man, Zara. When you come to my bed, and you will, it will be because you're desperate for me. Because you can't stand another night without my hands on your skin. Not because you're obligated. His thumb stroked across her knuckles in a touch that sent heat pooling low in her stomach. I can wait for that. I promise you, it will be worth the wait. The confidence in his voice should have annoyed her. Instead, it sent a shiver down her spine that had nothing to do with fear. One more thing, she said, pulling her hand back before she did something stupid. I keep working. I'm a nurse. I help people. That's not negotiable. I won't be some trophy wife sitting in a penthouse all day. I wouldn't dream of caging a bird as vibrant as you. He brought her hand back to his lips, pressing a kiss to her knuckles that felt like a brand. We have a deal then, Mrs. Kong. Zara took a deep breath, knowing she was about to jump off a cliff with no idea if there was water below. Yes, we have a deal. Good. He pulled out his phone, typing rapidly. My lawyer is preparing the documents now. I have a penthouse with a private rooftop. We'll have a small ceremony there. Tomorrow, we announce it to the world. Wait, you meant literally tonight? As in a few hours. His smile was all predator, all confidence. I never say anything I don't mean, wife. An hour later, Zara stood on a rooftop in Seoul, the city sprawling below her like a sea of lights. String lights created a canopy of stars above them, white flowers lined a short aisle, and a minister waited with kind eyes that asked no questions. She still wore her nurse's scrubs under a silk emerald robe that Minjun had somehow procured in the time it took his lawyer to arrive with the papers. For you, he'd said simply, draping it over her shoulders. Wear this over your scrubs. You're perfect as you are, but a bride should have something special on her wedding day. Now, standing across from him with Seoul glittering behind him like he'd arranged the city lights just for her, Zara felt like she'd stepped into someone else's life. Someone braver. Someone who took what she wanted. Minjun had changed into a different suit, still black but with a subtle sheen that caught the light. He was devastatingly handsome, and the way he looked at her made her feel like the most beautiful woman in the world. The ceremony was brief. The words felt both binding and surreal as they echoed in the night air. Do you, Zara Okonkwo, take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband? Her voice was steady. I do. Do you, Kong Minjun, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? His eyes never left hers. I do. Then by the power vested in me, I pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride. Minjun stepped closer, his hand cupping her face with unexpected tenderness. May I? He whispered, and she nodded, not trusting her voice. The kiss was soft, controlled, a brush of lips that somehow felt more intimate than anything she'd experienced in her 3-year marriage. When he pulled back, his eyes had darkened to almost black. Mrs. Kang, he murmured against her lips. You have no idea how stunning you are right now. The minister and the 2 witnesses, Minjun's guards, departed discreetly, leaving them alone under the makeshift canopy of lights. Your room is prepared, Minjun said, his hand still cradling her face. Master Suite, East Wing. My room is West Wing. You'll have complete privacy. Anything you need, just call the house staff. We're not sharing a room? For some reason, disappointment flickered through her chest. His jaw tightened, a muscle jumping there. I told you. I'm patient. But I'm also a man, Zara. Having you in my bed, untouchable? That's a torture I'm not ready for. He stepped closer, his hand trailing down her arm, leaving goosebumps in its wake. When I finally have you, and I will have you, I plan to take my time. Learn every sound you make, every place that makes you gasp, every single thing that brings you pleasure. I won't rush that. Heat flooded her body, her skin suddenly too tight. You're very sure of yourself. No. His honesty surprised her. I'm terrified you'll never want me the way I already want you. But I'll wait. Because you're worth waiting for. You're worth everything. Before she could respond, figure out what to say to that kind of raw honesty, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his entire demeanor changed. The softness vanished, replaced by something cold and dangerous. David just received notification of our marriage. Legal requirement since your divorce was finalized less than 6 months ago. He showed her the screen. 3 missed calls from her ex-husband. 7 text messages, each more frantic than the last. He's panicking. Would you like to twist the knife? Zara took the phone, her heart pounding with a mixture of vindication and residual hurt. She answered the next call, putting it on speaker so Minjun could hear. Zara. David's voice was shrill, panicked. What the hell is this? You married Kang Minjun. Are you insane? Hello, David. Her voice was steady, cold as ice. Yes, I'm Mrs. Kang now. Is there a problem? Is there a problem? Do you know who he is? What he does? He's dangerous, Zara. He's going to hurt you. Funny, she said, looking at Minjun, who watched her with approval in his dark eyes. He's been nothing but kind to me, which is more than I can say for you. This is about the money I owe him, isn't it? Zara, baby, please, you have to help me. Tell him I'll pay. I just need more time. Minjun took the phone back, his voice dropping into a register that promised violence. Time's up, David. And don't ever call my wife baby again. Your debt will be collected tomorrow. 10 a.m. My office. Oh, and David? Bring your new wife. Zara wants to meet her. He hung up. Zara was shaking, but not with fear. With adrenaline, with anger, with something like vindication that felt hot and powerful in her veins. Thank you, she whispered. Minjun pulled her into his arms, and she went willingly, burying her face in his chest. He smelled like sandalwood and danger, and something uniquely him. Sleep tonight, wife, he murmured into her hair, his arms strong and steady around her. Tomorrow, we make him pay for every tear you shed. Zara barely slept. The room Minjun had given her was larger than her entire apartment had been. The bed was massive, covered in silk sheets that felt like water against her skin. But every time she closed her eyes, she saw David's face, heard his voice calling her defective, broken, worthless. At 6 a.m., she gave up on sleep and found her way to the kitchen. Minjun was already there, wearing fitted black pants and a white shirt, sleeves rolled up to reveal surprisingly muscular forearms. He was making coffee, and the domestic sight was jarring given everything she knew about him. Couldn't sleep, he asked, pouring her a cup without asking if she wanted one. Nervous about today. He handed her the coffee, their fingers brushing. Even that small contact made her aware of him in a way that should have alarmed her. Don't be. You hold all the power here. He leaned against the counter, studying her. How do you want to play this? Sympathetic? Cold? Vindictive? Zara thought about it, sipping the perfect coffee. I want him to see what he lost. I want him to understand that I was never the problem. Then we'll make you shine so bright he goes blind looking at you. Minjun set down his cup and pulled out his phone. I'm calling my stylist. By the time David sees you, he'll realize he threw away a diamond because he was too stupid to recognize its value. 3 hours later, Zara barely recognized herself. The stylist had dressed her in a fitted cream dress that hugged her curves perfectly, emphasizing her body instead of hiding it like she'd done for months. Her natural hair was styled in elegant goddess locks swept over one shoulder. Makeup subtle but flawless, highlighting her rich dark skin and brown eyes. When she walked into Minjun's office where he was reviewing documents, his reaction was immediate and visceral. He stood abruptly, papers scattering, his eyes traveling over her like a physical touch. Devastating, he said, his voice rough. David's going to lose his mind. I'm losing my mind and you're my wife. Is it too much? She asked, suddenly uncertain. He crossed to her in 3 strides, his hands framing her face. You're perfect. So perfect it hurts to look at you. When this is over, remind me to thank my stylist and then fire her so no one else gets to see her make you look like this. Zara laughed despite her nerves. You can't fire someone for doing their job well. Watch me. But he was smiling, that rare, genuine smile that transformed his face from dangerous to absolutely beautiful. At exactly 10 a.m., the receptionist called. Mr. Kang, David Park, and his wife are here. Send them in. Minjun took Zara's hand, guiding her to a chair positioned beside his desk, not in front of it. The message was clear. She wasn't a visitor. She was an equal. The door opened. David walked in, and Zara felt a surge of satisfaction at his appearance. He looked terrible. Tired, stressed, older than his 32 years. His new wife Jessica clung to his arm, young and pretty, but looking very nervous. David's face when he saw Zara was everything she'd hoped for. His jaw literally dropped, his eyes widening in shock. Zara, he stammered. You look. David, she interrupted, her voice cool and controlled. You remember me? Your defective ex-wife. He flinched. Jessica frowned, looking between them. Minjun stood, buttoning his suit jacket with practiced ease. Mr. Park, you owe me 50 million won. Plus 3 months of interest at the agreed-upon rate. Total, 75 million won. Do you have it? David's face went from shocked to pale. I need more time. Please, I can get it, I just need. No. Minjun's voice was flat, final. However, my wife has requested I show mercy. So here's the offer and it's non-negotiable. You have 2 options. He moved around the desk with predatory grace. Option 1, I take your car, your apartment, and everything else of value you own. You work for my company at minimum wage until the debt is paid. Estimated time, 7 years. David looked like he might vomit. Jessica's grip on his arm tightened. Option 2. David's voice was barely a whisper. Minjun glanced at Zara, giving her the floor. This was her moment. She stood, walking around the desk slowly, savoring the fear in David's eyes. The power felt intoxicating. Option 2, Zara said softly, stopping directly in front of her ex-husband. You tell your wife the truth. Right now. About your medical condition. About how you lied to me for years. About how you blamed me for something that was never, ever my fault. Jessica's frown deepened. What is she talking about, David? Zara, please don't do this, David started, but Zara cut him off. He has fertility issues, she said, addressing Jessica directly. Low sperm count. Poor motility. The doctors told him our inability to conceive was primarily his issue, not mine. But he told everyone I was barren. He made me believe I was broken while he was the problem all along. The words felt like poison leaving her body, like lancing a wound that had festered for too long. Jessica's eyes widened in shock and betrayal. She turned to David, her voice rising. Is this true? David, is this true? Baby, I can explain. Is it true? Jessica screamed. David's shoulders slumped in defeat. Yes, he whispered. Yes, it's true. The slap echoed through the office like a gunshot. Jessica's hand connected with David's face hard enough to snap his head to the side. You told me she was the problem. Jessica's voice shook with rage and tears. You said she was defective. We've been trying for 3 months and I was starting to worry it was me, and you let me think, oh my God. You're disgusting. Before you find out what happens next, if you're loving this story of revenge and redemption, do me a favor and hit that like button. Drop a comment telling me what you would do in Zara's position. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? This channel is full of stories just like this one. Now back to the story, because it gets even better. If you do this, Zara continued, her voice steady even as her heart pounded, if you tell the truth publicly, issue a statement correcting the lies you told about me, my husband will reduce your debt to the original 50 million. Payment plan, 5 million won per year for 10 years. Manageable, even for you. It was more mercy than he deserved, and they all knew it. And Minjun added, moving to stand beside Zara, his hand coming to rest on the small of her back in a possessive gesture. You sign a legal document admitting the fraud. If you ever speak poorly of Zara again, if you even mention her name without respect, the full debt returns immediately, and I take everything. Your job, your home, your reputation. Are we clear? David nodded miserably. Jessica was already pulling off her engagement ring, tears streaming down her face. I need the bathroom, Jessica said, her voice broken. A staff member escorted her out. David stood there alone, pathetic and small. I'm sorry, Zara. I really am. I was ashamed and I took it out on you, and I'm sorry. Zara looked at the man she'd once loved, once promised her life to, and felt nothing. No love, no hate. Just indifference. I don't forgive you, she said clearly. But I'm letting you go. Sign the papers. Make the statement. And stay out of my life. I will. I promise. He looked at Minjun. Take care of her. She deserves better than what I gave her. I know exactly what she deserves, Minjun said coldly. And she'll have it. Now get out of my office. David left, broken and defeated. The door closed behind him with a soft click. The moment they were alone, Zara's legs nearly gave out. The adrenaline that had sustained her evaporated, leaving her shaking. Minjun caught her immediately, strong arms wrapping around her, holding her up. I've got you, he murmured into her hair. You were incredible. Absolutely incredible. I thought I'd feel better, she admitted, her face pressed against his chest. I thought revenge would make me feel whole again. Revenge never does. But truth? Truth is healing. He pulled back enough to look at her face, his hand cupping her cheek. You took your power back. That's what matters. She looked up at him, this dangerous man who had given her everything she needed without asking for anything in return. Thank you, she whispered. Don't thank me. You did this. I just provided the stage. His thumb stroked across her cheekbone. You're magnificent when you're ruthless. It's incredibly attractive. The air between them changed, charged with electricity that had been building since the moment they met. Minjun, she said softly. Yes, wife. Take me home. Please. His eyes darkened, pupils dilating. Are you sure? You're emotional right now. I don't want you to regret. She kissed him, cutting off his words. It was clumsy, desperate, but real. When she pulled back, she saw her own desire reflected in his eyes. I've never been more sure of anything. Take me home and make me forget everything except your name. He didn't need to be told twice. The penthouse was flooded with afternoon sunlight when they arrived. Minjun led Zara through the familiar space to his wing, a part of the home she'd never entered. His bedroom was masculine and sleek, all dark colors and clean lines, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul. Last chance to change your mind, he said, though his hands were already on her waist, burning through the fabric of her dress. I'm not fragile, she replied, reaching up to loosen his tie. I'm not broken. And I'm not afraid of you. You should be. He caught her hands, holding them still. Because once I have you, Zara, I'm never letting you go. This marriage might have started as a contract, but it ends as something real. Tell me you understand that. Her heart pounded so hard she was sure he could hear it. I understand. I want it. I want you. He kissed her then, and it was nothing like the gentle kiss from their wedding or the desperate kiss from his office. This was consuming, demanding, a claiming that left no room for doubt. His hands roamed her curves, reverent but possessive. Tell me what you need, he murmured against her lips. You. Just you. All of you. He lifted her easily, her legs wrapping around his waist as he carried her to the bed. The dress was carefully removed, his suit following. And then it was skin against skin, heat and need and something deeper that Zara was afraid to name. Minjun was patient, thorough, learning her body like he'd promised. His hands mapped every curve, his mouth following, until she was gasping his name like a prayer. When he finally made her as completely, it felt like coming home and flying apart all at once. David had made her feel worthless. Minjun made her feel worshipped. Afterward, tangled in silk sheets with the Seoul skyline glittering beyond the windows, Minjun traced lazy patterns on her bare shoulder. I have a confession, he said quietly. Zara turned to face him, her body deliciously sore. What? I didn't just choose you because you were outside my enemy's radar. His dark eyes were vulnerable in a way she'd never seen. I saw you once, 6 months ago. You were at a cafe near the hospital, reading during your break. You smiled at something in your book, and it was the most genuine, beautiful thing I'd ever seen. I had you investigated. I know how that sounds. I know it's wrong, but I needed to know you. He took a breath. When I learned what David had done to you, I wanted to destroy him. But I also wanted to save you. Protect you. Make you smile like that again, but for me. That's incredibly romantic and incredibly creepy at the same time, Zara said, but there was no heat in it. I know. I'm not a good man, Zara. I've done terrible things. I've hurt people. My money isn't clean. My past isn't clean. But for you, I want to be better. She kissed him softly. Then be better. With me. We'll figure it out together. Always, he promised. His phone buzzed on the nightstand. He ignored it. It buzzed again. And again. Finally, with a curse, he grabbed it. His face went hard as he read the screen. What's wrong? Zara asked, sitting up and pulling the sheet around herself. My security team. There's been a breach. He was already out of bed, pulling on clothes with efficient speed. One of my warehouses was hit an hour ago. This is a message. A message about what? He turned to her, his expression grim. About you. The Yakuza found out about our marriage. They're sending a signal that you're not as protected as I thought. Fear gripped her chest. What do we do? You stay here. The penthouse is a fortress. I've got the best security money can buy. You'll be safe while I handle this. No. She was already getting out of bed, looking for her clothes. If this is about me, I'm not hiding. Absolutely not. You're not going anywhere near this. His voice was hard, commanding. You don't control me, Minjun. She pulled on her dress, her own voice firm. I agreed to be your wife, not your prisoner. If I'm in danger, I deserve to know exactly what we're dealing with. They stared at each other, wills clashing. Finally, he exhaled harshly. You stay by my side every single second. You do exactly what I tell you when I tell you. Understood. Understood. He pulled her close, kissing her hard. You're going to be the death of me. Not if your enemies get us first. Let's go. The warehouse was on the outskirts of Seoul, and by the time they arrived, Minjun's security team had already secured the perimeter. The damage was clear: broken windows, scorch marks from a small fire, crates smashed open. But it was the message spray painted on the wall that made Zara's blood run cold. Pretty wife. Shame if something happened to her. Minjun's jaw clenched so hard she heard his teeth grind. Get her out of here. Now. But before his guards could move, his phone rang. He answered, listened, and his face went dangerously blank. When? Pause. How many? Pause. Lock down the building. I'm on my way. He hung up, turning to Zara. They're not targeting me. They're targeting the hospital. Your hospital. They're threatening to attack during the night shift change when the building is most vulnerable. They want to draw you out. Zara's heart stopped. My friends. My colleagues. Maria. Will be protected. I'm sending my best team there now. His hands gripped her shoulders. But this is exactly why I didn't want you involved. They're using innocent people to get to you. Then we give them what they want. Absolutely not. Listen to me. She grabbed his face, forcing him to look at her. If we run, if we hide, they win. They'll keep escalating until someone gets hurt. But if we face them, if we negotiate. These aren't people you negotiate with, Zara. Everyone negotiates. You just have to find the right leverage. She pulled out her phone. You said you have resources. Information. What do you have on the Yakuza? Understanding dawned in his eyes. Everything. We've been gathering intelligence for months. Insurance, in case they ever came after me directly. Then we use it. We meet with them. We show them that hurting me means destroying them. It was risky, possibly stupid, definitely dangerous. But it was also the only way to end this without innocent people getting caught in the crossfire. Minjun stared at her for a long moment. Then he smiled, fierce and proud. You're either brilliant or insane. Possibly both. He pulled out his phone. I'll make the call. Neutral ground. Public enough that they can't just kill us. Private enough for real talk. Where? The hospital. Rooftop helipad. Ironic, but effective. The call was made. the term set. 2 hours later, Zara found herself back at the hospital, riding the elevator to the roof with Minjun and 6 of his guards. If this goes wrong, Minjun said quietly, if anything happens, you run. Don't look back, don't be brave, just run. My men will protect you. If this goes wrong, we run together or not at all. He kissed her, hard and desperate. I love you. I know it's too soon, I know we barely know each other, but I need you to know. I love you. Zara's breath caught. I love you too. Which is why we're both walking away from this. The elevator doors opened. The rooftop was dark except for the safety lights around the helipad. 3 figures emerged from the shadows. Yakuza, clearly, dressed in dark suits, their faces hard and dangerous. The leader was older, maybe 60, with a scar running from his temple to his jaw. He looked at Zara with cold calculation. Kang Minjun, he said in Japanese-accented Korean. You've been quite the problem for us. Tanaka-san. Minjun's voice was respectful but firm. I could say the same about you. This woman. Tanaka gestured to Zara with dismissive casualness. She's your weakness now. We could take her. Break you. You've become soft, Kong. Sentimental. Minjun's hand moved to the small of Zara's back, a protective gesture that didn't go unnoticed. You could try. You wouldn't succeed, but you could try. Or, Tanaka continued as if Minjun hadn't spoken, we could come to an arrangement. Your tech networks, your supply chains, your connections. We want access. Partnership. In exchange, we leave your pretty wife alone. We even help you consolidate power against the other families. Think about it. Together, we'd control Seoul. It was a devil's bargain wrapped in a business proposal. Zara could see Minjun calculating, weighing the options, the lives at stake. But then she stepped forward, ignoring Minjun's sharp intake of breath. This was the moment. The moment from the beginning of our story. Or, Zara said clearly, her voice steady despite her racing heart, you could leave now, and we don't release the evidence we have of your human trafficking operations to Interpol. Tanaka's eyes narrowed dangerously. You're bluffing, little girl. She never bluffs, Minjun said, moving to stand beside her in a united front. Show him, wife. Zara pulled out the tablet that one of Minjun's guards had given her in the car. On it were files, photographs, shipping manifests, financial records. Everything needed to destroy Tanaka's entire operation. We've been gathering this for months, Minjun explained, his voice cold as winter. Insurance. You come after us, after my wife, after anyone we care about, it all goes public. Not just to Interpol. To your rivals, to the media, to everyone. Your organization won't survive the exposure. Tanaka stared at the tablet, his face impassive, but Zara saw the calculation in his eyes. He was weighing his options, deciding if they were worth the risk. The silence stretched, painful and tense. Zara's heart hammered against her ribs. Minjun's guards were ready, hands hovering near concealed weapons. Then Tanaka laughed. It was a sharp, barking sound that echoed across the rooftop. You have steel, this one, he said, nodding at Zara with something like respect. I like that. Most women would have cowered. You stand and threaten me. He smiled, showing teeth. Very well. Truce. We leave you alone. We leave your operations alone. Mutually assured destruction keeps everyone honest, yes. Yes, Minjun agreed. But Tanaka's smile disappeared. If you ever use that information, if you ever break this truce, you'll never see us coming. Your wife, any children you have, everyone you love. Gone. Do we understand each other? Perfectly, Minjun said, his voice promising equal violence. Tanaka and his men left, disappearing into the stairwell like shadows. The moment they were gone, Zara's legs nearly gave out. The adrenaline that had sustained her evaporated, leaving her shaking violently. Minjun caught her, his arms wrapping around her, holding her together. You were incredible, he murmured into her hair, his own hands shaking slightly. Terrifying and incredible. I was terrified, she admitted. Bravery is being terrified and doing it anyway. He pulled back enough to look at her face, his eyes scanning her for any sign of injury or shock. Are you okay? Really okay? I think so. Are they really gone? Is it over? For now. The truce will hold as long as we have that information and they believe we'll use it. He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. You saved us. You saved your hospital. You saved everyone. We saved everyone, she corrected. Together. 3 months passed. The truce held. David made his public statement, his reputation in tatters, but his debt being paid off slowly. Jessica divorced him within a month. Minjun began slowly legitimizing his business operations, severing ties with the criminal underworld piece by piece. And Zara went back to work at the hospital, but now with a security detail that her colleagues found both impressive and slightly intimidating. She was checking patient charts when she felt it. A wave of nausea so sudden she had to grip the desk. Maria noticed immediately. You okay? You look pale. I'm fine. Just felt dizzy for a second. But it happened again the next day. And the day after that. Always in the morning. Always the same sudden nausea. Zara was a nurse. She knew the signs. But it couldn't be. Could it? She bought the test on her way home, her hands shaking as she paid. In the penthouse bathroom, she waited the longest 3 minutes of her life. Positive. The word blurred as tears filled her eyes. Happy tears, shocked tears, disbelieving tears. She was pregnant. The specialist had been right. Minjun had been right. She wasn't broken. She'd never been broken. Zara. Minjun's voice came from the bedroom. Are you okay? You've been in there a while. She opened the door, unable to speak, just holding out the test. His face went through a dozen emotions in seconds. Shock, disbelief, joy, fear, overwhelming love. Are you? I'm pregnant. She laughed through her tears. I'm pregnant, Minjun. We're going to have a baby. He closed the distance between them in one stride, lifting her up and spinning her around, his own eyes wet. A baby, he breathed, setting her down gently like she was made of glass. Our baby. Are you happy? She asked, suddenly nervous. We haven't even been married that long and this is fast and... He silenced her with a kiss, deep and sweet and full of promise. Happy? He pulled back, framing her face with his hands. Zara, you've given me everything. A real marriage. Real love. Purpose beyond power and revenge. And now this? He knelt, pressing a kiss to her still flat stomach. I'm beyond happy. I'm complete. She ran her fingers through his hair, her heart so full it ached. I love you. I don't think I say it enough. I love you, Minjun. From that crazy night you proposed, to this moment, to every moment forward. He stood, pulling her close. I love you, Zara. From that cafe 6 months before we met, to our wedding under the stars, to every single day of our future. You're mine and I'm yours. Always, she whispered. Always, Mrs. Kong. 1 year later, Zara sat in the nursery of their penthouse, their daughter sleeping peacefully in her arms. Amara Seoyeon Kang had Minjun's dark hair and Zara's rich skin tone, a perfect blend of both their worlds. She was 3 months old and already the center of their universe. Minjun entered quietly, exhausted from a day of running his now completely legitimate tech empire. He'd finally severed the last of his criminal connections, choosing a different path. For their daughter. For their family. How are my girls? He whispered, sitting beside them on the plush chair. Perfect, Zara said, leaning her head on his shoulder. Absolutely perfect. I got something in the mail today, he said softly. A letter from David. Zara raised an eyebrow. And? Congratulations on the baby. Apologies again for everything. He's in therapy now, apparently. He and Jessica split up. He's trying to be better. Good for him. And she meant it. The anger was gone, replaced by indifference and pity. You're not upset? Minjun asked. Zara looked down at their daughter, then at her husband. How can I be? His cruelty led me to you. To this. To our family. I'm grateful, in a strange way. Without him breaking me, I never would have found you to put me back together. You put yourself back together, Minjun corrected gently. I just had the privilege of watching you bloom. We healed each other, she said. You were just as broken as I was. We just hit it differently. He kissed her temple. Look at us now. Whole. Amara stirred in Zara's arms, making the soft sounds that meant she'd wake soon wanting to be fed. I'll get her bottle, Minjun offered, but Zara shook her head. Stay. Just stay with us for a minute. So he did. They sat together in the soft glow of the nursery lamp, their daughter between them, the Seoul skyline glittering beyond the windows. Zara thought about the woman she'd been a year ago. Broken, humiliated, convinced she was worthless. That woman would never have believed this was possible. A husband who loved her fiercely. A daughter who was living proof she'd never been defective. A life full of purpose and power and peace. What are you thinking about? Minjun asked softly. How far we've come. How grateful I am that you walked into that hospital and offered me something crazy. Best decision I ever made, he said. Marrying you that night. Making you mine. I made you mine too, she reminded him. Equal partners, remember? Always equal partners. He kissed her, soft and sweet. I love you, Zara Kong. I love you too. Amara chose that moment to fully wake up, her cry piercing the quiet moment. They both laughed. Welcome to parenthood, Zara said, standing to prepare the bottle. As she fed their daughter, Minjun's arms around them both, Zara felt something she never thought she'd feel again after her divorce. Complete. Whole. Home. The broken nurse and the dangerous mafia boss had found something neither expected. Real love. Real family. Real happiness. And it had started with 5 words that changed everything. I'll make you my wife tonight. If this story touched your heart, if you felt Zara's pain and celebrated her victory, I need you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is dedicated to bringing you powerful stories of love, revenge, and redemption. Drop a comment below telling me your favorite part of Zara and Minjun's story. And smash that like button if you believe in second chances and healing love. Share this with someone who needs to hear that being broken doesn't mean being worthless. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.